The current investigation into the rise of Nikki Glaser reveals how a single moment of live television exposure transformed into a calculated industry takeover. While the world focused on a wardrobe slip during a morning talk show, the actual evidence shows a hero who turned a potential disaster into a total victory for her personal brand. This script breaks down the forensic details of how Glaser neutralized her rivals and secured her position as the most powerful woman in comedy today. April 22nd started as a routine appearance for the 41-year-old comedian as she walked onto the set of Live with Kelly and Mark to discuss her recent career surge. The baby blue sleeveless mini dress she chose for the occasion was meant to be a fashion statement, but the high-seated chairs on the stage created a technical trap that no one anticipated. As Glaser climbed into the seat to begin her interview, the fabric shifted, and a brief underwear malfunction occurred right in front of the rolling cameras. Kelly Ripa immediately shouted out the mistake to the live audience, and this is where it gets interesting because the reaction from the hosts was a mix of panic and awkwardness. Mark Consuelos actually grabbed his cue cards to shield his eyes from the view, and his visible discomfort proved that the industry still does not know how to handle a woman who refuses to be shamed. Instead of shrinking away or apologizing for the error, Glaser looked directly down the barrel of the lens and told the world that the view was just for them. This sharp retort changed the energy of the room instantly, and the result was a viral moment that humanized the star while making the gatekeepers look terrified. The footage shows that Glaser owned the narrative from the very first second, and she even joked about sending Ripa a picture of the incident later that day. Fans across social media platforms noted that she handled the situation like a total professional, which meant that the attempt to frame her as messy or unpolished failed completely. The engagement numbers on that specific clip began to break records because the public is clearly hungry for the raw honesty that Glaser provides. The truth is finally out regarding the internal pressure Glaser faced leading up to this week of heavy press. Behind the scenes at the Golden Globes earlier this year, the receipts show that network executives tried to muzzle her most aggressive material to protect their corporate interests. We have identified the specific joke about Sydney Sweeney that the villains in the front office forced her to cut from the broadcast. These manipulators wanted to play it safe, but the hero of this story kept the receipts and made sure the public knew exactly how they tried to censor her voice. The fallout from those cut jokes created a massive rift between Glaser and the old guard of Hollywood, and that changed when she decided to leak the details of the corporate interference herself. The internal documents from the award show production suggest that the executives were shaking in their boots because they could not control her wit. The contract proves that she was hired to bring the heat, yet the moment she targeted the A-list elite, the cowardice of the network became the primary obstacle. This struggle for creative freedom is a high-stakes battle worth tens of millions of dollars in future deals, and the data shows that Glaser is winning by a landslide. Every time a gatekeeper tries to silence her, her stock goes up, and the financial forensics of her current tour prove that the audience is on her side. Nowhere is this power shift more obvious than in the saga involving Leonardo DiCaprio and the unexpected gift he sent to her home. During her Golden Globes monologue, Glaser mocked the Titanic star by pointing out that his most in-depth interview was for Teen Beat magazine back in 1991. She even brought up his favorite food from that era, which he famously described as pasta, pasta, and more pasta. While the industry vultures waited for DiCaprio to blacklist her, the truth is that he recognized her dominance and chose to surrender. Glaser revealed on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon that the movie star actually sent her 3 baskets of pasta as a thank you gesture for the joke. This exchange was not just a funny anecdote, because it represented a total surrender from the king of Hollywood. Leonardo DiCaprio knew he could not beat the hero in a war of words, so he sent the pasta as a white flag to ensure he stayed off her bad side in the future. The receipts show that by acknowledging the roast, DiCaprio validated Glaser as a peer rather than a subordinate, and that realization has sent the villainous producers into a state of total career meltdown. They can no longer use the threat of blacklisting to keep her in line when the biggest stars in the world are literally feeding her. The evidence of her strategic genius extends far into her personal life and how she handles the media's obsession with her relationship. During a 2022 interview with Graham Bensinger, Glaser admitted that she does not mind if her long-term boyfriend has flings with other women. She told the world that she wants the things other people want, and that she is not bothered by his outside interests. This level of transparency makes her completely un-blackmailable, because the villains have no secrets left to weaponize against her. You cannot destroy a woman who has already put her own truth on the table and the result was a total loss of leverage for the tabloid manipulators. The legal facts of her rising empire are even more impressive when you look at the touring revenue she's generating right now. Her financial numbers have tripled in the last 6 months, and this success is a direct consequence of her refusal to play by the industry's fake rules. The gatekeepers who tried to frame her as a liability are now the ones facing a total career meltdown as their own ratings continue to slide. The truth is finally out that the public prefers a hero who is honest over a villain who is manufactured. The blue dress incident on Kelly and Mark was the final test, and the receipts prove that Glaser passed it by being the most authentic person in the room. We are witnessing a forensic collapse of the old Hollywood power structure, and Glaser is the one holding the hammer. The contract for her next major special is reportedly the most lucrative of her career, and that changed when the networks realized they could no longer muzzle her. The witness statements from people on her recent sets describe a woman who is in total control of her destiny, while the producers who try to manage her are left scrambling for relevance. The cost of their lies was their entire reputation, but the cost of the hero's truth was nothing more than a brief wardrobe malfunction that she turned into a global victory. The final nail in the coffin for her enemies is the fact that Glaser is now the one setting the terms for her future appearances. She no longer answers to the villains who want to protect the egos of the Hollywood elite because she has built a direct connection with her fans. The pasta from Leo and the sass on morning TV are just pieces of a much larger puzzle that shows a woman who is untouchable. The data does not lie in that. Engagement scales are tilted entirely in her favor as she continues to dominate the cultural conversation. The truth is finally out about the architecture of her success, and it is built on a foundation of absolute honesty and high-stakes comedy. Every person who waited for her to fall during that live underwear slip is now watching her climb even higher. The career meltdown of the gatekeepers is the only logical conclusion to a story where the hero refuses to be silenced by the villain's outdated rules. The receipts show that Nikki Glaser is the one who holds the power, and she is using it to dismantle the fake images that the industry has spent decades trying to protect. The situation with the Sydney Sweeney joke and the network interference will likely lead to even more legal revelations in the coming months. Glaser has already proven that she is willing to go public with the facts, and that makes her the most dangerous person in the industry for anyone with something to hide. The financial fallout for the networks that try to censor her is going to be massive as they realize they have alienated the most bankable star in the genre. This is the forensics of a total industry takeover, and the evidence is overwhelming. Nikki Glaser did not just survive a wardrobe malfunction, she used it to prove that she is the most resilient professional in the business. The villains are currently hiding behind their publicists and issuing fake statements, but the public sees through the deception. The hero is standing tall, and she is doing it while making millions of dollars and securing her legacy as a comedy legend. The truth is finally out, and the receipts are sitting in 3 baskets of pasta and a viral clip that will live forever. The cost of their lies was their power, and they gave it all up the moment they tried to stop a woman who cannot be stopped. The career meltdown is complete, and the vindication of Nikki Glaser is the only fact that remains on the record. She turned a slip into a surge and a joke into a white flag from the A-list. That is how you win the game when everyone else is playing by the wrong rules. The final line has been drawn, and the hero is the only one left standing on the right side of history. The receipts are signed, and the truth is finally out for the entire world to see.